Okay, so we're recapping today, day 4 of training camp. Tomorrow, the Cleveland Browns will be back in pads, real football, right? We're not talking about this shells and shorts or t-shirts and shorts crap. We're talking about real padded football practices. And then, as you guys know, I stated earlier, I will be in Berea myself to watch Fridays, Saturdays, and Mondays practice this upcoming week. So super excited about getting my eyes on this training camp. Thought it was a unique enough training camp that I should make the trip down. So super excited about that. But let's talk about today's practice because, as Daniel Ofuise says right here, and I'm sorry that the size is so small here, but today was probably the best day for Browns quarterbacks, maybe a broad product of getting more red zone work, overall better production situationally. Stefanski and his offensive staff will meet and discuss the quarterback rotation before returning for the first padded practice. Now, that's a good update to hear because up to this point, we've been hearing that the passing game had been coming together pretty slowly. And it hadn't been the most impressive you've seen, which was concerning some folks. If you're wondering what the rotations were like, Daniel says he kept track of each Browns drill each quarterback has received through 1 week of training camp to get a good sense of who the staff is prioritizing right now. Dylan Gabriel, Kenny Pickett at the top, no surprise there. Sanders and Flacco at the bottom, no surprise there. Joe Flacco is probably going to be at the bottom of these reps just because he's old. And Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, those are guys they're giving a look at. And we're going to look at some of the practice footage from today from all 4 quarterbacks and break it down a little bit. So we'll discuss what's going on there. But yeah, that's been the breakdown throughout the first week of practice. Specifically in yesterday's practice, the first team drills went like this. Well, this is the first team drills for the first week. Joe Flacco has had 8, Kenny Pickett 7, Dylan Gabriel 4. So that's how the first team drills have been going. Again, not something that I'm too surprised by at this point. But let's look into some footage here, right? We're going to start with Kenny Pickett because I've heard a lot of things positive about Kenny. I'm a bit more skeptical about this simply because it's Kenny Pickett, but also what raises a red flag for me in training camp, and this is just me, maybe I'm wrong on this, but whenever I hear people gush about a player's mobility and unpadded practice, I start to be concerned a little bit that Kenny is kind of leaning on that athletic ability when he knows he can get away with it right now because there's nobody really pursuing him. So let's see how that holds up in joint practices where it's going to be a bit more live action for him. But yeah, I always think one of the biggest pieces of smoke you can ever get in training camp is your quarterback scrambling a little bit, right? Like it's always kind of bullshit at the end of the day. But here's Kenny Pickett's 7-on-7 reps. This ball right here, it's hard to say without getting the full all 22 look. And I just wanted to say this as a disclaimer before I even get into it. Understand that there is a large chance that there's a lot of pieces that we're missing here. So don't take my analysis of this practice footage as gospel or anybody's analysis of practice as gospel. Remember, practice is practice. It's not really a game, should not be evaluated like a game. We're just looking at this to see what it looks like from the outside looking in and not really taking it too seriously. So let's keep that in mind while we go through it. This is what I would call a medicine ball. Devin Bush absolutely smacks this guy across the middle of the field. Didn't do a good enough job holding that weak side safety. I mean, not safety, but weak side linebacker. And didn't drive that ball fast enough to get it there before him, which causes the PBU. Martin Emerson, good coverage by Martin Emerson, though. That's a good sign. Like, again, both sides are the Cleveland Browns, so it's not just bad that there's a pass breakup. This is a really good play by Martin too. Look at that. Gets his arm in there. I don't know who that is. That Gerhardt or Whitehart? I don't know. But gets his arm in there. Real physical play there. Pops the ball up. That's the Martin Emerson we know and love. That's what we want to see more of from Martin out there. Again, Kenny Pickett here today. Don't know where that ball was supposed to go. Another one here, a little pass to Jerry Jeudy. This can be deceiving because this looks like an out, and outs always are hard to tell exactly what's going on from field level, if I'm being honest with you. But, yeah, this one carries a little bit. We know Kenny Pickett doesn't drive the ball super impressively. This is not what he brings to the table. But, yeah, nice enough throw on a 7-on-7 period. Nice to see Jerry Jeudy out there healthy. Another 7-on-7 rep. Again, another good play by Martin Emerson. Which, again, remember, both sides of this are on brown and orange, so it's not a bad thing that you're seeing a pass breakup here, right? So nice, again, physical technique. Look at that technique by Martin. Just gets his shoulder in there. That's on Jerry Jeudy, too. That's not nobody, you know. Good coverage there. Great play. I don't mind the decision from what I can see because you're just giving your guy a chance here, and this isn't a bad ball to give a guy a chance. It's a 50-50. Jerry doesn't come down with it. Martin does a great play on it. Oh, that's Sweats out there with the first team. Yeah, Sweats out there with the first team. Great job. Martin Emerson. At least great job by Martin. And then a nice little celebration there to close it out there. If we get this Martin Emerson back, if this is the Martin Emerson we can see again, if this is the Martin Emerson we can trust again, and he looks great. I mean, like he looks like he's in really good shape. Athletically in these clips, he looks like he's in really good shape. If we can get this Martin Emerson, our secondary, which was a weakness last year, can go back to being a strength on top of everything else that the Browns have going for it, right, on the defensive side at the very least. So that's good stuff to see from Martin. Here. What the hell happened here? By the way, shout out to Cam Justice. She has all this footage. Okay, it's just a drag. This is nothing. Dylan Sampson drops a drag. It's nothing. All right. Here. That's a sack. This is also the problem with practice footage, man. Like, there's so many plays. I see people go, oh my God, what a throw. That was incredible. And then I look at it, I'm like, so clearly and obviously would not have been a positive play on the Sunday. Man would have got smacked up on the Sunday. This is one of them, right? Watch this. You just see Myles Garrett decide, I'm going to stand straight up. Yeah, it's over with, dog. You're dead there. That's a strip sack, by the way. You know, I know he probably goes on to complete this play, but this in a game is a strip sack, my guy. Let's see. Let's go back. Can I see anything? I think Mason's in there. Let's look at Mason real quick. You know, this ain't just about the quarterback. What did Mason do here? Look at 94, passing off on the 2, sliding through. Okay, so this is a twist. So he's on a twist, and he gets through successfully, gets off of his man. Nice little dip there. Has post spinning. Oh, this would have been a ice cream sandwich, my guy. Like, he's over with. Look, pose turned the other way. This is a good rep by Mason Graham. Look at this. Let's go back a little bit. Yeah. So this is a twist. So a twist is somebody goes loops around, somebody slides inside. You see the looper is Mason Graham, the guy who's cutting inside, the slasher. Go around him, right? I believe that's 96. And then this is what makes Mason Graham so useful on these stunts and twists already in his career. And I know people look at his pass rush stats in Michigan, and I've heard people even in this comment section say, well, Mason Graham's not a pass rusher. Mason Graham is very useful in the pass rush. I think he has as diverse a skill set as a pass rusher as he has as a run defender. I think he has a better skill set as a pass rusher. He's not going to get a ton of sacks. He's not Aaron Donald, but he's a pretty good pass rusher. And he has this bend that's unique for his size and weight that if he really can like master that while adding strength is going to be pretty lethal in a couple of years. And you're seeing it right here, right? They loop him around and he gets Ethan Posick. Ethan Posick's feet get caught up in this mess here on this twist, and that just allows him to just loop underneath him. And if Miles didn't get him with the strip sack, Mason was going to get him with the regular sack. And if Miles pops that ball loose, it's probably Mason Graham that gets on top of that. That's a good rep by Mason. And yeah, Miles, I don't know what Miles did to DeJuan, but it probably was not fair. DeJuan is not in the frame. But yeah, DeJuan, it's never good when your left tackle is staring at the ass of your quarterback. That's never a good thing. Look at this shit in the corner. It's not funny. Like, it's not funny. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make fun of nobody, right? DeJuan Jones' job is legitimately hard. It's Myles Garrett, man. Like, nobody's stopping this dude. And look, look at the far right of your screen. You're going to see DeJuan Jones's belly out as he's chasing Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is already dipped below. He's got the sack, dog. He's like already a foot away from DeJuan. This shit is crazy. Whew. If they can do that, if they could twist and loop like that with Myles on that side, leaving him on a one-on-one with the tackle, which by the way, this is probably a unfair situation that they put the offensive line in on purpose, right? They wanted to see, Jim Schwartz wants to see, okay, what does this package look like when it works? Can we force this one-on-one? And if we get that one-on-one, will we be successful in that one-on-one? And they found out, yes, if we isolate the center in Mason Graham, and we get him on that island with that advantage, and then Myles is on that island, this will be successful. So it's not like a screaming indictment of the offensive line. They're probably working this intentionally. It's just hilarious that like Myles went this hard. I mean, like, hey, look, he's trying to win a defensive player of the year again, and he might do it. Look at this shit, dog. You just see Myles shoot into frame and poor DeJuan Jones. It's like, what the fuck just happened? Yeah, that's a sack. I don't care what happens after this. I know he throws this nice little running catch, and you can put that on Twitter, and people gonna be excited. Oh, Harold Fainin, that's fun. And Harold Fainin is fun. But let me tell you, dog, this shit is not getting off in a real game. Look, Myles is standing straight up by the time he passes this. He's dead. He's absolutely dead. And it looked like David Njoku was open on the seam. So no. No. This is the problem, dog. If somebody charted this as a completion, this is a problem. This is not a completion. This is a sack. But they charted it as a completion, right? Another run play here. They're trying to see if this draw trap play works, so they have the defensive line purposely get upfield. I did see that that Cam Thomas was taking first team reps opposite of Myles. That's an interesting update there. But yeah, Mason Graham gets upfield, and you're just trying to see, okay, get him in space. I think that's Pierre Strong. Nothing really interesting here. See Kenny Pickett running around. And this is where I'm like, it's a cheat code, man. This is not anything you can really get information off of. So yeah, like he runs around there. He probably gets like 6-7 yards in a real game. Myles Garrett's probably not going to be jogging right there at this point. He's probably going to be going for the football or something like that. So yeah, can't really take much from that. Kenny Pickett is athletic. I'm not trying to say he's not, but we know he's not like a game-changing athlete in the NFL. This is a Dylan Sampson run. What is this? Probably a tackle right here. I don't know. It's hard to tell with the depth from the floor, but it's probably a tackle from Greg Newsome here, or at least a trip up. So again, not much you can take away from that. Okay, this is basically worthless. Right here. It's downfield, open. Somebody fucked up on the defensive side of the field. It's more about a defensive mishap. And then a design run when you're in a red jersey. I could give a fuck less. Oh, give a damn less. I'm sorry. I'm trying to cuss less. All right. And again, like this is nice. It's nice. Nice little play. Step up in the pocket. You know, I'm noticing I'm not seeing, certain numbers out there in the pass rush, which is probably why this play was able to get off here, right? We're seeing Sam Kamara out there and Isaiah McGuire on this little loop. And then who's on the other side? Oh, that looked like it might have been a sack. Yep. I think Isaiah McGuire would have got him. He's on this little action. And again, they're working this twist during camp. Zach Zenter just a little bit slow getting back onto it. Doesn't get great feet here. And then good job by Isaiah McGuire really just getting underneath it. And yeah, brother, that's a sack. I'm sorry. That is absolutely 100% a tackle. That's a tackle in flag football, by the way. Like he would have got the flag right there. Yeah, that's a sack. That's a sack, my guy. So this shit ain't actually happened. Nice little step up throw. You want to see your quarterback do that, but that shit is a sack. We got anything else here from Kenny Pickett? Really, I think one of the things that I was disappointed in when I watched Kenny Pickett and Shador, they took a real long time to get the ball out, which I think is a little bit more concerning than most people are kind of putting out there, right? When you're watching it, is that the ball's not coming out quickly. That's the thing that kind of popped out to me because we're going to see Dylan Gabriel and Joe Flacco here in a second. But, yeah, that's what stood out to me. Nice little throw on the run here. It's a nice ball. It's a good ball. I don't know if that's not a sack in a real game. Feels like it would have been. Or at least like a contested throw. But, hey, nice little throw on the run here. Nice little toss to Whitehart. That counts as a touchdown. Everybody spikes the ball. Everybody's happy. Cool. All right. So that's Kenny Pickett. I'm not thoroughly impressed with that. I know people were like talking about it impressed. And people are also talking about Sanders impressed. Honestly, when I watched through it's not film. When I watched through the footage, and again, this is limited, so maybe I don't know. I really wasn't impressed with some of the people that like folks were telling me I should be really impressed with. Hopefully I'm wrong about that, but we'll see. Let's jump to Joe Flacco real quick because it's not that much footage. The only thing that really stands out when I watch Joe is most of these completions are downfield, and look at how fast this ball comes off his hand. That is unique to anybody else. He still has the strongest arm in this camp, which is probably concerning that a 40-year-old has the best arm in camp. Right here, again, look how this ball just jumps off of Joe's arm in a way that it definitely doesn't with Kenny Pickett, it doesn't with Dylan Gabriel, and it doesn't with Shador. I think that shoots. But he wasn't very accurate. Making quick decisions, though. That's what you expect out of Joe Flacco, is to make some quick decisions. Right here, red zone, nice little pass to Jerry Jeudy. Not really much to really glean out of this, right? Another one here. I don't know if that got completed. Did that get completed? That got cut off pretty fast there. Ronnie Hickman got a finger on that. Look at that. Nice to see Ronnie Hickman making plays. Yeah, got a finger on it and knocked it out of bounds. So good play by Ronnie Hickman. Another one here, and that's a great ball, but I don't think Jerry Jeudy comes down with it. Was it a good ball? It was just out the reach. Never mind. I still want Jerry to catch that, though, just because I have higher expectations of him. But, yeah, it's out of reach. It's technically out of reach. That's Joe Flacco. Not much to glean there. I thought Dylan Gabriel, I saw some stuff there that I thought was more like indicative of what people have been saying about him, right? Where he has the processing is where he is special. The accuracy is not special with Dylan Gabriel, which is a thing. Like Shador's accuracy is pretty impressive. Dylan's processing is impressive, but his accuracy isn't. And if you could just merge those two quarterbacks together, you probably have one decent one. But let's look at Dylan here and see what I'm talking about. Here, look the ball comes out, right? And not only does the ball come out, what I find impressive for Dylan is that the ball's coming out and he's attacking downfield, right? Like that's what I think is unique here. He's right on with this. That ball's just a little off target. You would love to see your star wide receiver come down with this because it's a catchable ball for a superstar, but it's just out of reach here, right? And to be fair, that's a tough ball. Got to layer it over a linebacker, get it to your wide receiver. But the reality is all these throws are going to be tough in the NFL. But what I do like from this rep from Dylan is the decision, right? Gets the play action, eyes forward, sees it, throws it, rips it downfield. That's what you need in this offense, right? Confidence to attack downfield, not get scared. And look, ball comes out quick here. This should have been caught, but DeAndre Carter just drops this one. This one nicely layered over that first level linebacker into that second level, low and away, so it avoids the swat. This is as good as you could throw it. And it just goes off the elbow of DeAndre Carter. It looks like maybe Greg makes a play on it, but you look at it in slow motion, you can see right there, it touches the palm and then the elbow, and then Greg's hand, after it touches the elbow, swats it down. But there was multiple catch points there for that wide receiver. Good ball, good decision. Like that he's making the quick decision there. I can see what, like, in the room probably has them excited about. Dylan, I think pads coming on, real 11-on-11 reps with defensive line, like you have to find your pass lanes. That's going to be critical for Dylan Gabriel because that's going to tell me, okay, can this guy find pass lanes and still make decisions quickly? Because in 7-on-7s, his height's not going to be a factor. 11-on-11s is going to be a little bit more of a factor, but when there's a live rush there, then it's going to start telling us what's up there at the quarterback position with Dylan, and if he's going to be the type of guy who can find those lanes, process quickly, and get the ball downfield. Right now, I think this is pretty good for a guy in his first week of camp here, right? Again, you know, processing quickly, making a good decision, just not an accurate football here. All right, I think this is supposed to go to Jerry, but it's just off target. Same thing here. I don't know. Is that a sack? Let's look at that. Does that feel like a sack? It's close. It's close. I might give it to him just because Dylan is really small and you can just grab him with one hand and probably knock him off balance if you weigh like 300 pounds. I'm trying not to make fun of him. I'm really not making fun of him. I'm just being honest here. But it's debatable whether that's a sack. It's debatable. I'll give you that. And he does do a good job side shuffling, finding a little lane here, layering this over, getting this out to the back. Nice job there. He looks like he's played a lot of football, right? Like, and that's the one thing about Dylan Gabriel that's true. Let's look at his pocket footwork before we see. Okay, so good ball there, gets it to 84. All right, let's see. It's kind of muddy. All right, so little read option, jet, plants out. They love this footwork. I hate it when they do this. It never really looks good. And this is that a legit avoidance of a pressure right here? I would say, yeah. I think he gets out there in the right rhythm in the right time. I would say that's a legit rep. That's pretty good. Another one here, downfield decision, just not accurate. You know, that's going to be the question. Does he have the arm strength to drive it? Pads are going to be really important for him, right? Another one here, ball out quick. That should have been caught. That's a tough ball. I get it. But, you expect those. You expect your tight ends to come down with those, right? Oh, so far, like, I think this has been a pretty good day from Dylan from what I can see from the videos, you know. And quick decision downfield. I have no idea what happened with that ball, but apparently it was a touchdown. Another one here. Works back. It's not really the best decision to work back because it's really tight coverage by who is that? Is it Harrison? Looks like 33 again. Love to see him having a good day. Yeah, works back. It's not the best decision to work back, but if somebody's double covered and you got to get the ball out, like that's fine. It's a great play by Hickman because he just gets his palm in there. I think that's better play by defense, but that's a solid rep by the quarterback, especially a rookie. A little toss off. You can't really tell anything here. Let's see. Is there anything interesting who they're pulling on this one? They got Wyatt Teller pulling, and who else? Ethan Posick. Nah, I've seen this a million times out the Browns offense. And look like Wyatt's moving pretty good. So, yeah, nothing really unique here. I ain't going to try to tell you. I saw what happened down there. And then, quick decision. This one's actually not that quick. So let's actually rewind it. Hard to tell. Maybe it's tough coverage. Why there's not a quick decision here. Probably a sack. Not even probably. Definitely a sack. Alex Wright has a sack here. That rep's over. Yeah, I don't care what happens for the rest of this. It's a sack. So, yeah. That is Dylan Gabriel. I've watched all of these beforehand. I think Dylan Gabriel was the one where I was like, oh, okay, that's a good sign, right? I'm seeing stuff that I didn't expect from him. Fast processing was what we thought, but my big concern with Dylan was like, hey, will he become kind of too comfortable with checking the ball down? It seems like he's processing fast, but processing the ball downfield. We'll see if that changes with pads because it could. It could definitely change with pads. Let's look at Shador, who, again, I think he had like 3 touchdowns charted. We'll see if we'll see, because like with Kenny Pickett, there was a lot of stuff charted there where I'm like, he's going to get, that's not a play. He gets sacked there, right? Like, or, other shit like that. So let's look at this right here. It's a 7-on-7 drill. And I would say Shador's probably number 2 in arm strength here, right? Because the ball seems to drive. Yeah, the ball seems to drive a bit more. It doesn't drive like Joe Flacco, but it drives. Definitely drives. Let's go here. Yeah, see. He just kind of checks it down here. Guess he didn't like what he saw. Let's go down here. So here. Another check down. This is an 11-on-11 drill under center. Is this a handoff? Yeah, it's just a handoff. And that's probably a no gain run. And it's probably a sack. Let's go back to it. Let's confirm it in slow motion. It's good footwork by Shador, by the way, So, yeah, good foot, steps, senses, but it's probably too late at that point, right? Alex Wright has a full palm on your back. That's over with. You're probably going to get sacked, and it's time to really make sure you don't fumble at that point, right? But he's not practicing that right now. They're telling him, well, no, my bad. It's not Alex Wright. That's Isaiah McGuire with another one. So, yeah, that's definitely a sack in my book, or at least like a contested throw with like a defensive lineman draped on you in full pads, right? Like there's a whole hand there on his backside, on the small of his back. Now, he could get away from this because I think 69 Thompson is actually doing a decent job of pinning that other arm in, so he can't get a full wrap here. And I would have to see what's happening on the other side because it looks like Alex Wright is running free. So I think there's going to be enough here to hold him up and let the other guy get to him if there was an angle. But it looked like 71 recovered, actually. Yeah, 71. It's not Jed Wills anymore, but 71 actually recovered. So maybe this does get off. Yeah. Maybe this does get off in a game, in a preseason game, right? And then good job recognizing that this DB fell right here, 26, Miles Harden. Just dump that off. Oh, never mind. He didn't do it. I thought he was going to do it. So actually, I would say this is a bad rep. Yeah, because he probably gets tackled back there. Honestly, once you see this DB fall, that ball should go straight to the tight end. Don't know what they're working on. Maybe they're working on something else. But yeah, if he's not tackled back there, which I think there's an argument for it right now that I've looked through it, he's definitely tackled right here. DeMonte Casey has him dead to rights. Yeah, he's just choosing not to get fined by the team. So yeah, and they're going to chart this as like a successful run, but that's not. That's a sack. Or at least a negative yard run. All right, let's go to the next one. It's a good throw. Little bit long to get to it. All right, let's see. Let's confirm. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4. Yeah, this is way too long to get to it. And I think that's the thing that you're seeing with Shador. It will look good when you see these clips, but if we're speeding this up to NFL speed where you get 2.5, I mean, he's 3.5 seconds here, right? That needs to speed up right now. The clock needs to speed up for Shador. Right? Like Dylan Gabriel, ball's out. Now his ball is out, but the ball should be out way earlier. He's waiting on it too long. Now he has the protection here, but who's really rushing him right now, right? Like it's Sam Kamara rushing him. So yeah, that needs to come out quicker, but it's a beautiful throw. Let's look at the throw. It is a pretty ball. And that's what Shador does better than anybody, I think, in this campus. He throws the most accurate football. I just think the processing needs to speed up, right? If he gets that processing sped up, he will start for the team. It's just that's the big question. Can he get that processing up to where it needs to be? Because Kevin requires a quick processor. All right, that'd probably be intercepted. The tip ball. You throw it late. Yeah, you throw it late, short into a sandwich. That ball's going to pop up in the air and probably be picked off. It's not a good rep. All right, little check down. Work back to it. It's fine. Another check down. Nothing really there. I don't even know were they working something? That was way too easy. Yeah, there's like too many people in the way of this shot, but I don't know. That running back out open way too easy. Good on Shador to see it, I guess. Right there. And let's continue. McNamara got that one. All right. Red zone drills. Another check down. What would be interesting to see is he right for all of these check downs, or is he just not seeing it fast enough and processing to the check down? That's the big concern, right? Processing speed with Shador Sanders. That's the thing that needs to speed up. That was noticeable at Colorado that he needed to speed it up. And one of the things I pointed out in my film breakdown of Shador Sanders before he came out was look how he looked versus NFL caliber defensive linemen throughout his entire college career, right? UCLA, Oregon game, BYU game, and there was another one, Nebraska game, right? The second one. Now, he was decent in that first Nebraska game, but that second one, that's 4 out of 5 of those games he looked pretty bad in. And the question is hey, the accuracy is there. He throws a pretty ball. He has pretty good footwork. But does all of that maintain when he's getting a real rush and he needs to process this about a second to a half a second faster? That's the big concern, right? So pads, we'll see how good he looks when he's getting a live rush. But really, I want to see how good he looks when he gets a live rush from the first team, right? Because, when you got third string defensive tackles coming at you, you're probably going to get that 3 seconds to 3.5 seconds. But really, when you have to get it out 1.5, well, not one, well, sometimes 1.5, but 2.5, right? Under 3, really like where it's just 3 steps and a hitch out. That's where I have my concerns about Shador from his college tape. And it looks like still it's not coming out fast enough. And then when you see him checking the ball down a lot, like you do in this footage, you wonder like, hey, is something there and he's not pulling the trigger, so he's just working back to the check down? Or is everything covered and he's working back to the check down? Because he's going up against third and second team, I find it hard to believe that everything's just clamped up, lockdown coverage. Now, he is having third and second team wide receivers out there with him, so maybe they're just not getting open. But it's probably not that. In practice, you would want him to, if he sees something, even if it's close, just pull the trigger, right, and try to see if you can make it. So the amount of checkdowns that I saw from him and Kenny Pickett, I'm not really like thrilled about. But we'll see. We'll see. Again, it's practice. I'm not going to take it too seriously, but it is something to keep an eye on, right? Like this one, there's no world in which like he's going to get this much time. Right, like 4, 5, 6. Come on, this is a sack. This is a sack. This is not a successful play here, right? Like he's tackled here. He's tackled behind the line of scrimmage. That's too long, right? Again, got to get this out. This is a red zone drill. You got to get the fucking ball out here, right? It can't get to this. Ball's got to come out. Make a decision. Try to make yourself right? Win the rep somehow, but you got to make something happen. And it seems like it's not happening there, right? Like it's taking a longer time for him to really see it, which is normal for a rookie quarterback, by the way. I'm not trying to say he's trash, right? Just saying he looks like a rookie. It looks like he's like processing it a half a second slow than what it needs to be. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, I don't think the coverage is that great, but we'll see. I mean, that's the one disadvantage of looking at it this way. I can't see how good that coverage is. Maybe that coverage is amazing. I do see DeAndre Baker out there, so it's not like scrubs, but but yeah, that's what the quarterbacks look like. That's what I could tell from the practice footage. I think Shador, I think that I've identified that the processing is not as quick as it needs to be now. And that there are tools there for him to be good. Like if he just gets that processing sped up, he'll be a pretty good quarterback. But that's a really hard thing to speed up. So I'd imagine this is why they've been more protective of not putting him against the first team, just because they don't want that to be kind of exposed in front of everybody. And maybe they don't feel like at this point in his development, he's ready to take that leap. Like maybe in a week or two, they feel like he's ready. He starts to get those first team reps. I think it's obvious why, after watching this, why Dillon Gabriel's getting first team reps, because he's already there with the processing. I would say he's processing as fast as any of them. I think he's doing it faster than Kenny Pickett or maybe not Joe Flacco, but probably around the same, speed that Joe Flacco's at right now. So I get why he's getting first team reps, and why Shador's not after watching this. Doesn't mean that Shador is completely out, but probably something they're gonna take their time with, because I think the ceiling, if he does figure that out, is there. That being said, Dillon did look pretty inaccurate, but I did like that he was attacking downfield. I liked Dillon's approach from what I could see on these clips, and again, it's very limited. The most out of all of the quarterbacks. Shador, I think he has the highest ceiling of all of them, but really have to get that processing thing a little bit faster, because there's a lot of holding on to the ball there. Same thing with Kenny Pickett, and Kenny doesn't have the same ceiling as Shador right now, right? I'm not really impressed with Kenny Pickett. Seems like they want to use him as a runner. I'm very concerned with the fact that they're leaning on the run stuff already in camp before pads got on. It feels like they're just kind of throwing stuff there. I know some people were very impressed with Kenny today. If that's what was out there, I'm less impressed. And then Joe Flacco honestly looked like a 40-year-old man at training camp. Like, it looks like he don't even want to be there. I'm being honest with you. And I know what Joe Flacco looks like in this offense. I don't really care what he looks like in camp. So yeah, that's my takeaway. I'm intrigued to see what Dillon looks like with the live rush. Can he find those passing lanes? Because that's going to determine whether he's going to be playable in this offense or not. But I do like that he is attacking downfield and confident enough to do so. And if he can do that, find passing lanes with the pass rush being live, I think that's good there. Kenny Pickett took a lot of sacks in this one. I know he has athletic ability, but I don't know, man. I wasn't very impressed. I think like half the passes that got charted for him as a completion were probably sacks. Same thing is true with Shador Sanders. So we'll see. Super excited to get down there, watch these guys live. But you tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Have a great day. Have a better night. Peace.